Look around you right now. Everything you see is changing. Your body, your thoughts, even this moment as you watch this video, all transforming, second by second. What if I told you that understanding this simple truth could completely transform how you respond to every frustrating person and challenging situation in your life? I want you to remember the last time someone made you absolutely furious. That feeling seemed so powerful, so permanent in the moment, didn't it? But here's what the wisest teachers throughout history discovered. Nothing stays. Nothing. And when you truly grasp this truth, you gain a superpower that most people will never have. Today, I'm sharing 5 ancient lessons that will revolutionize your emotional life. These aren't complicated techniques or empty promises. They're profound insights that have helped millions of people remain calm and centered for over 2,500 years. And we're starting with the most powerful one of all, a truth so simple, yet so transformative that once you see it clearly, you'll never react the same way again. Are you ready to discover why the people who truly understand impermanence are almost impossible to provoke? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly how to apply this wisdom to your most challenging relationships and situations. Think about the last time something small completely ruined your day. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic, or a barista got your order wrong. In that moment, your anger felt so big and important, but an hour later, a day later, that feeling had probably changed or disappeared entirely. This is impermanence in action, happening right under our noses all the time. 1. The first step to staying calm is simply noticing this flow of change in everyday life. Watch how your emotions shift throughout the day. Excitement turns to boredom. Irritation gives way to calm. Even physical sensations like hunger come and go. Nothing stays the same forever, not even our strongest feelings. When you're having a rough day, remember this truth. This too shall pass. These words aren't just a comforting saying. They're reality. Why do we suffer when things change? Because deep down, we're fighting against the natural flow of life. We want good times to last forever and difficult moments to disappear instantly. This resistance creates tension in our minds and bodies. It's like swimming against a powerful current instead of learning to float. Try this simple practice. When something good happens, enjoy it fully without trying to freeze it in time. When something challenging arises, remind yourself, this is temporary, and feel the difference in your body as you stop resisting what's already happening. With practice, you'll find yourself staying steady even when everything around you seems chaotic. The wisdom of impermanence doesn't mean becoming cold or detached from life. Instead, it teaches us a warmer, more genuine kind of love, one that appreciates things exactly as they are, without demanding they stay frozen in time. When you love someone with an understanding of impermanence, you cherish each moment with them rather than grasping desperately to keep things the same. This approach transforms our relationships. Instead of getting upset when someone changes or does something unexpected, we can appreciate them as they are right now. We can disagree with someone without starting a war, because we recognize that opinions and situations naturally change over time. How much stress would disappear from your life if you could accept the people around you as they are in this moment, without demanding they meet your fixed expectations? Impermanence also teaches us to let go of grudges and resentments. When you're holding on to anger about something that happened in the past, you're essentially denying the reality of change. That person who hurt you 5 years ago, they're not exactly the same person today. Neither are you. Recognizing this doesn't mean you excuse harmful behavior, but it does free you from carrying around unnecessary emotional weight. During arguments, remembering impermanence can be your secret superpower. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, this conflict is temporary. These feelings will change. This simple awareness creates a tiny space between your emotions and your actions. Just enough room to choose a response that won't make things worse. Instead of saying something in anger that you'll regret later, you can stay steady and speak from a calmer place. Impermanence also guides us toward gratitude. When we truly understand that nothing lasts forever, even ordinary moments become precious. That morning coffee, the smile from a stranger, the warmth of sunlight on your face. These simple pleasures are worthy of our full attention precisely because they won't last. This isn't depressing. It's what gives life its richness and depth. Each morning when you wake up, try this practice. Remember that this exact day, with these specific circumstances and opportunities, will never come again. How might you move through it differently with this awareness? You might find yourself noticing small beauties you'd otherwise miss, speaking more kindly to those around you, or finally starting that project you've been putting off. The truth of impermanence isn't just about accepting that everything eventually ends. It's about discovering freedom in the flow of change. When you're not fighting against reality, you have so much more energy available for living fully. You can respond to challenges with creativity rather than rigid resistance. You can love more deeply without the shadow of fear and clinging. You can stay calm in the storm because you understand that all storms eventually pass. Now that you understand how everything changes, let's explore another powerful truth that will transform how you respond when life pushes your buttons. Think about someone who always knows just what to say to make your blood boil. What if I told you there's a way to stay perfectly balanced, even when facing your most difficult person? This second lesson reveals the extraordinary power of an equanimous mind, a mind that remains steady no matter what storms rage around it. This isn't about becoming a robot without feelings. It's about developing an inner strength that keeps you from being tossed around by every emotional wind that blows your way. When someone criticizes you harshly, your first instinct might be to either attack back or shut down completely. Both reactions come from the same place, being knocked off balance by strong emotions. But what if you could maintain your center, like a tree with deep roots standing firm in a hurricane? The balanced mind isn't something you're either born with or not. It's a quality anyone can develop through understanding and practice. Think of it like building a muscle. Each time you catch yourself starting to react automatically and choose a more balanced response instead, you're doing a mental push-up. And just like physical exercise, these small efforts add up to remarkable strength over time. What makes this approach so powerful is that it combines perfect balance with genuine care. Balance without compassion becomes cold indifference, not getting upset simply because you don't care. True equanimity holds both steadiness and warmth together. You care deeply about what's happening, but you don't let it throw you into emotional chaos. Watch what happens in your body the next time someone says something that upsets you. You might notice your chest tightening, your breathing getting shallow, or heat rising to your face. These physical reactions happen in an instant, often before your conscious mind even registers what's happening. The practice of equanimity begins with simply noticing these reactions without immediately acting on them. Try this. When you feel yourself getting triggered, pause and take a single deep breath. This tiny moment creates space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. In that space lives your freedom and power. Instead of being a puppet pulled by emotional strings, you become the puppeteer, choosing your own movements. This balanced mind shows its greatest value in difficult relationships. We all have people in our lives who seem to know exactly how to push our buttons. They might be family members, co-workers, or even strangers on the internet. With an equanimous mind, you can engage with these challenging people without being controlled by your reactions to them. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. The automatic response might be to honk, yell, or seethe with anger for the next 20 minutes. But what does that accomplish besides making you miserable. The equanimous approach doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. Instead, you acknowledge the event. That person cut me off, without adding the explosive emotional story. They're a terrible person who did this specifically to ruin my day. This balanced perspective works just as powerfully with praise as it does with criticism. When someone compliments you, the untrained mind might either dismiss it entirely or become attached and hungry for more validation. The equanimous mind can receive praise with simple gratitude, neither pushing it away nor clinging to it. The practice of equanimity transforms conflicts from battles into conversations. When you're not desperately trying to defend yourself or attack the other person, you can actually hear what they're saying. You might even discover the surprising truth that most conflicts aren't about the surface issue at all, but about deeper needs for respect, security, or understanding. Every time you maintain your balance in a challenging situation, you strengthen this mental muscle. Over time, you'll find yourself responding rather than reacting, choosing your actions based on wisdom rather than impulse. You become like the captain of a ship who can navigate through rough seas because they're not being thrown about by every wave. This steadiness doesn't just help you. It creates a calm center that benefits everyone around you. In a heated argument, the person who maintains their composure often becomes the anchor that prevents the situation from spiraling out of control. Your balanced presence can actually help others find their balance too. After understanding that everything changes and learning to maintain your balance, the third powerful lesson takes your understanding even deeper. Have you ever noticed how a single unkind word can ruin someone's entire day? Or how one genuine smile can lift the spirits of everyone in a room? This reveals a profound truth. Nothing exists in isolation. We are all connected in ways we rarely stop to notice. This third lesson explores the web of interconnection that links everything and everyone. When you truly see this web, you'll find it much harder to lose your cool with others, because you'll recognize a fundamental truth. There is no us versus them. There is only us. Think about the last argument you had with someone. In that moment, you probably saw them as completely separate from you, an opponent to be defeated. But what if you could see the countless invisible threads connecting you? What if you could recognize that their actions, like yours, arise from a complex web of causes and conditions? The insight of interconnection reveals that no one acts in a vacuum. The person who frustrates you today may be struggling with problems you know nothing about. Their harsh words might be the result of a difficult childhood, a recent loss, or simply a bad night's sleep. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it helps you respond with understanding rather than blind reaction. This awareness transforms how you move through the world. Instead of seeing each interaction as an isolated event between separate people, you begin to recognize that every word and action ripples outward, affecting countless others in ways you may never know. The coffee shop barista who receives your kindness might carry that positive energy to dozens of other customers throughout their day. Try this simple practice. Before responding to someone who has upset you, take a moment to remember that their behavior has countless causes, most of which have nothing to do with you personally. Ask yourself, what might be happening in their life that I don't know about? This brief pause often dissolves the urge to react defensively. When conflicts arise, the understanding of interconnection offers a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of asking, how can I win this argument? You might ask, what's the best outcome for our relationship? Or even, what's the best outcome for everyone involved? This wider view often reveals solutions that neither side could see when locked in opposition. This insight also helps us recognize how our inner state affects everyone around us. Have you ever noticed how quickly anger or anxiety can spread through a group? Emotional states are contagious. When you maintain your calm in difficult situations, you're not just helping yourself. You're contributing to the well-being of everyone in your environment. The wisdom of interconnection teaches us that compassion isn't just a nice ideal. It's the most practical response to reality. When you truly understand that another person's suffering affects the whole web of life, including you, caring for others becomes as natural as caring for yourself. It's simply good sense. This understanding dissolves the artificial boundaries we create between friend and enemy. Think about someone you consider difficult. Now imagine their life history, their hopes, fears, and struggles. They've experienced joy, heartbreak, and uncertainty just as you have. This simple recognition makes it much harder to maintain rigid judgments about them. The practice of seeing interconnection works just as powerfully in everyday situations as it does in conflicts. When someone holds the door for you, notice how that small kindness brightens your mood. When you offer a sincere compliment to a colleague, watch how it energizes their work. These aren't separate, isolated exchanges. They're ripples in the web that connects us all. Perhaps most importantly, this understanding helps us recognize that no disagreement, no matter how heated, needs to become a battle of enemies. Even when we strongly oppose someone's views or actions, we can remember that we're still connected to them as fellow human beings. This allows us to stand firm in our principles while still maintaining respect for the person on the other side. Living with awareness of our interconnection doesn't mean agreeing with everyone or avoiding necessary confrontations. Sometimes the most compassionate action is setting a clear boundary or speaking an uncomfortable truth. The difference is that you do so with awareness of the wider web of relationships, choosing words and actions that contribute to healing rather than further division. Now we arrive at the fourth powerful lesson, one that brings the previous teachings alive in each moment of your daily life. Have you ever driven somewhere and realized you don't remember anything about the journey? Or found yourself nodding along in a conversation while your mind was actually miles away? This common human experience points to one of our greatest challenges. We're rarely fully present in our own lives. This fourth lesson explores the extraordinary power of mindfulness, the art of being fully awake to your life as it unfolds. While the previous lessons offered important insights, this lesson provides the practical tool for applying those insights in real time, especially when facing difficult people or situations. Mindfulness isn't complicated. It's simply the practice of paying attention to what's happening right now, both around you and within you. But don't be fooled by this simplicity. In a world constantly pulling your attention in 1,000 directions, the ability to stay present is nothing short of revolutionary. Think about what typically happens when someone says something that upsets you. Before you're even aware of it, your mind races ahead, constructing elaborate stories about what their words mean about you, about them, about your relationship. In seconds, you can spiral from a simple comment to a full emotional storm. But what if you could catch this process right at the beginning? The practice of mindfulness gives you exactly this power. When someone says something triggering, mindfulness helps you notice your initial reaction, perhaps a tightness in your chest or a flash of heat in your face, before you're swept away by it. This tiny moment of awareness creates a crucial space between stimulus and response, a space where you can choose how to act rather than simply react. Try this simple practice next time you feel yourself getting upset. Pause and take 3 conscious breaths, feeling the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. This brief pause isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine. It's about stepping out of autopilot long enough to respond with wisdom rather than habit. Mindfulness is especially powerful in conversations. Most of us think we're listening when others speak, but often we're actually planning what we'll say next or judging what's being said. True mindfulness means listening with your full attention, not just to the words, but to the tone, the facial expressions, the unspoken feelings behind what's being said. This kind of listening can transform even the most difficult conversations. Think about someone you find challenging to talk with. The next time you're with them, try this experiment. Set aside your assumptions about what they're going to say and listen as if you're hearing them for the very first time. Notice how this changes the quality of your interaction. Many conflicts arise not from genuine disagreement, but from not truly hearing each other in the first place. Your body is one of your greatest allies in practicing mindfulness. When you feel yourself getting caught up in emotional reactions, bring your attention to physical sensations. Your feet on the floor, your breath moving in your chest, the feeling of your hands resting in your lap. These sensations anchor you in the present moment, preventing you from being swept away by thoughts about the past or worries about the future. Mindfulness transforms how you move through your everyday life. Washing dishes becomes an opportunity to feel the warm water on your hands and notice the rainbow in a soap bubble. Waiting in line becomes a chance to feel your breath and observe the world around you. Even difficult emotions become interesting experiences to observe rather than overwhelming storms to fight against or flee from. This presence of mind is especially valuable during conflicts. When someone criticizes you, mindfulness helps you hear the actual words they're saying rather than your interpretation of those words. It helps you notice your defensive impulses without automatically acting on them. And it allows you to respond based on what's actually happening in this moment, rather than bringing in all your past hurts and future fears. Perhaps most importantly, mindfulness helps you recognize your own patterns. We all have habitual ways of reacting when we feel threatened or upset. Maybe you tend to get aggressive, or perhaps you withdraw and go silent. Mindfulness shines a light on these patterns, not to judge them, but to give you the freedom to choose different responses when your usual reactions aren't serving you well. In a world that profits from your distraction, choosing to be present is a radical act. Each time you bring your attention back to this moment, whether during a difficult conversation, a mundane task, or a moment of joy, you're strengthening your capacity to remain calm and clear no matter what life brings your way. We've arrived at the fifth and final lesson, perhaps the most liberating of all. This insight builds upon everything we've learned so far and takes us to the heart of lasting peace. Have you ever noticed how some things feel deeply personal, as if they're touching the very core of who you are, while other things barely register? This points to a fascinating truth about human suffering. It's not just what happens to us that causes distress, but how personally we take it. This fifth lesson explores the freedom that comes from loosening our grip on the sense that everything is happening to me or about me. It's not about denying your unique perspective or pretending you don't have feelings. It's about discovering a profound spaciousness within yourself that isn't touched by life's inevitable ups and downs. Think about the last time someone criticized you. If you're like most people, it probably felt like they were attacking the very essence of who you are. But what if your thoughts, feelings, and even your sense of identity aren't actually the solid, permanent things they appear to be? What if, just like everything else in life, they're flowing, changing processes rather than fixed entities? The wisdom of non-identification reveals that you are not your thoughts. You're the awareness that notices thoughts arising and passing away. You are not your emotions. You're the spacious presence that can experience emotions without being swept away by them. You are not even your roles and identities. You're the consciousness that can play these roles skillfully without being limited by them. Try this experiment. The next time a difficult thought arises, perhaps I'm not good enough, or they don't respect me. Instead of automatically believing it, simply notice, there's a thought. Watch what happens when you create this tiny bit of space between yourself and the thought. Without your complete identification, the thought begins to lose its power over you. This approach is especially valuable when dealing with strong emotions. When anger arises, rather than saying, "I am angry," which implies the anger is what you are, try noting, anger is present right now. This subtle shift in language reflects a profound shift in perspective, from being the emotion to being the awareness that notices the emotion. From this more spacious place, you can respond wisely rather than react blindly. The practice of non-identification transforms how you receive criticism. When someone points out a mistake you've made, instead of feeling that they're attacking your worth as a person, you can simply examine whether there's useful information in their feedback. You might discover that criticism becomes much less threatening when you don't identify so completely with your actions, opinions, or self-image. Think about all the different selves you move between throughout a single day. You might be a professional, a parent, a friend, a spouse, a hobbyist. Each role comes with its own patterns of thinking and behaving. The wisdom of non-identification helps you recognize that while these roles are important, none of them defines the whole of who you are. You are the awareness that can step into and out of these roles as needed. This understanding creates remarkable freedom in relationships. When you're not desperately defending a fixed self-image, you can listen to others with genuine openness. You can change your mind when presented with new information without feeling like you're losing something essential. And you can allow others to change and grow without feeling threatened by their evolution. Non-identification also reveals a surprising truth about opinions and beliefs. They're simply mental constructs, not who you are. Think about how fiercely people defend their viewpoints, as if their very survival were at stake. But when you recognize that your opinions are not your identity, you can hold them more lightly. You can engage in discussions without the desperate need to be right, creating space for genuine dialogue rather than endless debate. When facing conflict, this wisdom offers an invaluable perspective. Instead of seeing criticism as an attack on me, you can view it as simply information about how your words or actions are being received. This doesn't mean you automatically agree with every criticism, but it does mean you can evaluate feedback without the distorting lens of defensive identification. Perhaps most powerfully, non-identification helps you respond skillfully to life's inevitable hardships. When difficult circumstances arise, you can acknowledge their impact without the added suffering that comes from taking them so personally. You can say, "This is a challenging situation," rather than, "Why is this happening to me?" This subtle shift often makes the difference between being overwhelmed by adversity and moving through it with resilience and grace. In daily interactions with difficult people, this understanding becomes a practical superpower. When someone says something hurtful, instead of immediately identifying with being the wronged one or the victim, you can create space to respond rather than react. You can choose words and actions based on what will create the best outcome, rather than what will protect your self-image. You've now explored 5 transformative lessons that can completely change how you respond to life's challenges. From understanding the nature of change to loosening your grip on fixed identities, each insight builds upon the others to create a powerful foundation for a lasting peace of mind. But here's the truth. Simply hearing these teachings isn't enough. Real transformation comes through practice, through applying these insights in your everyday life, especially in those challenging moments when you're most likely to lose your calm. If you found value in these lessons, I invite you to deepen your journey. Subscribe to this channel now so you never miss future videos exploring these timeless teachings. Each video we share is designed to help you apply this ancient wisdom to modern life, offering practical tools for greater peace, clarity, and compassion. And if you know someone who struggles with emotional reactivity, perhaps a friend who gets easily upset, a family member who holds grudges, or a colleague who gets stressed in conflicts, share this video with them right now. These teachings have helped countless people throughout history, and your simple act of sharing might be exactly what someone in your life needs today. The path to lasting peace isn't about controlling the outside world or changing difficult people. It's about transforming your relationship with your own experience. With each practice, with each moment of awareness, you strengthen your capacity to remain centered no matter what storms life brings your way. So hit that subscribe button now, share this video with someone who needs it, and join our growing community committed to bringing more wisdom and compassion into the world. Together, we can create ripples of peace that extend far beyond our individual lives. Thank you for your presence and attention. Until next time, may you meet each moment with clarity, compassion, and calm.